Hello everybody, welcome back to Sunrise Adventures. I'm Blair, your host. If you've never been, welcome to my mayhem. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back. I wanted to drop a little note saying thank you for 1,200 subscribers. Almost. We're close. Just hit the subscribe button. And your likes and everything else. I'm not doing this for fame and fortune. I'm just doing it to have some fun and share it with you guys. So yeah, it's just kind of, we'll see what happens. Anyway, the bench you're about to see here is going to the Beaver Island Community Center. Yes, I live on an island in Lake Michigan. Check it out, Beaver Island. It's pretty cool. But the Beaver Island Community Center has a gala fundraiser every year, and I have been tasked to make something for it, and this is the final result. It's a little long, but you're also looking at about 14-15 months of work on and off. It turned out very nice. I appreciate you guys watching, and if you've been on the bench and won the bench, then thank you very, very much. Every little bit helps. Community Center is awesome, and we shall see you next year. I got a ton of stuff coming up. Stay tuned. Thanks again, guys. Hello, everyone. All right, another project. So I'm going to show you. Oh, it's so dirty. So this is a 2-inch thick piece of walnut, and I poured the green down the middle. It was actually two pieces that were all, it was like a rough cut, and I cleaned it all up. I routed a V in there, poured epoxy, and this is just going to get legs on it, but this one, I'm going to make a waterfall table, and this is going to be my first one of these, so, well, I don't know, but it's a piece of, I don't know, inch and a thick poplar. Not the best board for this, but it's okay. It's going to get covered with epoxy, so it'll toughen up. But there's no rhyme or reason to what I'm doing here. I'm just going to cut it down the middle. I'm actually not going to go right down the middle. I might go a little crooked. No, I'm going to go just offset. Well, there's a crack right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. So actually, I think I'm just going to run that crack out, and then with the warm drive, and then I'm going to do the same thing with that one, but a little different profile. I'm going to route the insides. Then we're going to sand it a little bit and spray some sealer on it, and then we're going to mount it to this backing board here and pour epoxy. Show you how I do all of that. It's going to be a couple of different pours of epoxy to get the depth. And then we got to cut it, and then we got to 45 it and join it and polish it and all of that good stuff. So yeah, it's going to take a little bit here, but hopefully you guys will enjoy it and follow along. I haven't been doing too many long forms. I'm going to try and keep it as concise as I can, but yeah. So here's the process. Thanks for coming by, guys. I really appreciate it. Alright, so again, this is all just however I want to make it. There's no rhyme or reason to any of this. Alright, actually, I'm changing my mind just a little bit. I'm just going to use this side instead. I like the color in here. I'm going to pretty much shoot right down the middle of this thing. Little. Yeah, we'll just go. I don't know. You know what? I'm just going to see where it goes. Now what I'm going to do is run them through this planer right here. It's, they're pretty rough cut. I mean, you can see how rough they are. This is This went through another planer, but this planer needs blades. It's a big industrial, so it's easier to clean them up on that one, and then do what you want, and then come to this one. You get what I'm saying? Alrighty. So you can see I didn't cut it straight. I kind of want it. I don't want it even. And now we're going to route out this inside to a different profile to try and get more surface area and more space to see the epoxy. And mental note, plane the board before you cut it. Yeah. Alright, so I am going to set up to route this and this, and we will be right back. Alright, so we have our board set up on a wrench and the totally wavy line. We've got our router with just an angle on it, so all we're going to do is pitch this top on an angle, and then the bottom we're going to leave square. It's fine because it's all going to be full of epoxy. Yeah, so all we're doing is pitching this with the router. Just got a taper on it. We're just gonna, it just gives us some room to fill with epoxy. We're going to swap things out, put the other board in, do the same thing, and then give it a quick sand, and then we'll glue it down for epoxy in a little bit here. Thanks, guys. All right, and we rip the other side of the board. Okay, both cut to angles. Again, this is going to get epoxy filled. I don't mind if it's wavy. I don't mind if it's, you know, it can have its own flavor. It's fine. We're going to grab this big boy here and set it up. Some people do this different ways. I am actually going to just silicone it down to that board, and then build walls around it. We will show you in a second. All right, so this next step is kind of steps. I glue this one down. I know it's square because it's at the end of the board. And then once that's dry, sealed, a little sticky just so it doesn't move, we can start to put these down. A lot of people do this a lot of different ways. I like silicone. It works. It doesn't leak. Yeah. Anyway. So we're going to let that one dry, and then we're going to glue the backs of these down. And that is what is going to determine how wide it is, right? So, sorry, let's do this. I can make a table that wide, or I can make a table that wide. Just depends on where I glue them down. Obviously, more epoxy, wider apart, more epoxy, more money. Yeah, so we're going to let that dry for a second, and then I'll show you tacking these guys in, and we'll go from there. And we got to wax it and all this other stuff. So next step is, I don't need silicone over here, I just want it here. So I just run a bead of silicone right along this edge, and we run one on the end of it so it don't run around it. Found that it's better to be generous with this than be stingy, because I've had it leak as well, and half your epoxy runs out the bottom. But you don't really want that. So a nice bead of silicone. And again, this is of random choice. I can put this pretty much wherever I want, but don't want to slide it around once I'm done. Clean up that. So I got it tight against this end. I got my seam cleaned up here, which will come out later. It's not a big deal. It'll clean up once we get it out of this mold. I've learned also you don't really want giant seams down there. A little bit more cleanup mess later, you know. Silicone will come right off this board later. And worst comes to worst, we can sand it. But now this again is totally random. If I want it an inch wide, if I want it 2 inches wide, something right about there. You guys you can see what I'm doing. Yeah. So right about there, and again, make sure it's tight here. Clean up my marks. And this board's a little curvy, so we're gonna clamp this one down. Just to keep it where it is. You don't necessarily need these, and again, this is all just random. This is wherever wherever you're making this. There's no right or wrong. Now, I got that all locked in. Our last little bit is gluing this end piece in here to make another dam for the epoxy. Don't need to be super crazy, but it needs a fair amount of silicone in here. You really, epoxy's expensive, silicone's cheap. Now we make a nice little barricade here. Seal it up. Push it against there. There we go. So yeah, there we go. Alright, this is gonna sit now for probably a day. Make sure it's all, sealed, because you don't want to move it and then everything slides and you're starting over. So the silicone will take a while to dry, and we will revisit this in a little bit. For you it'll be instant, but in the time, go like and subscribe, please. Yeah, I'd appreciate it. Anyway, stay tuned. Okie doke. Well, yeah. I kind of wanted more in there, a little more. I can't really pour any more on top of it because then they'd be mixing it different or drying at different rates. I don't know. I'm trying to decide if I want to fill it up to the taper, because I know I want clear. I want a layer of clear. I want you to see the wood. But I wanted that another ½ inch higher. So this is going to take a while because it's deep pour, which kind of bummed because I could have done this with regular. But yeah, I'm going to let this set up and we'll show you the results. Thanks for coming by, guys. Alright, so I'm going to do something a little different. I don't know if it's going to work. I'm mixing this blue up. This is a darker blue, as you can see. Hold on. Yeah, you might be able to hear me now. This is deep pour. I like to mix it, keep it mixed. It starts reacting so fast that I don't want to get any dead spots in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour it in here, but I'm going to pitch this so it's going to be a gradient from dark to almost nothing out here. I don't know if it's going to work, but we'll try it. Who knows? Alrighty, I got a whole bunch of blue. I don't know what color it is. It's pearl. It's cool. This is actually tilted. That's going to be the bottom of the table, so I want a gradient, darker to lighter. So I've got boards in there tilted up. Hopefully this all runs to that end. There we go. Actually a bit much. I might get the gradient I want. You can actually see it running, look. That's pretty cool. Anyway, stay tuned, I'll update you guys. Oh yeah, that's cool. It's kind of hard to see, the lighting is terrible in the garage. But it starts off narrow down there. There's almost nothing there, and then maybe that's a better light. And then this end's almost full, and it's dark. So you get the color gradient all the way up, and once I cut it, that end's going to be the bottom on the floor, so it'll look like a waterfall getting darker. That's the plan. We'll see if it happens. Thanks, guys. All right, everyone. This is dry. You can see the color change, whatever. We're now doing just clear. It's getting warm. And all I'm doing is filling up this valley all the way down. Let's take out the stuff that makes it right. There we go. Now it's flat. So yeah, all I'm doing is fill in the valley, and I just want it, the whole thing, one, I don't know, same level. I want it just up to the top of the V, just to fill it in. Well, there we go. Alright, and we're going to let this set for 2 more days, and come back and I'll show you the next step. A lot of steps. Anyway, thanks guys. Stay tuned for more. I should be right back. I'm actually going to fill this crack if you're wondering what I'm doing. Oh. Yeah. I'll show you the next step. Stay tuned. Alrighty, so epoxy's dry. I put some out here to seal it up. I'm going to knock these off. We're going to wrap the whole thing in duct tape. Well, I'm going to sand it, because there's some boogers in it. We're going to sand it. We're going to wrap it in duct tape, and then I'm going to pour about ½ an inch of clear over the whole thing, and then we're going to cut it. But right now we got to knock these off, which are just siliconed on. No big deal. Clean up the ends, and yeah, away we go. So let me set up the sander. We'll be right back. Okay, so it's been a couple of days. This is nice and hard. This is just preliminary sanding. Try and sand this booger down and get this flat, and then we're going to pour a flood coat. But this is going to take a little bit of sanding, and you don't want to watch it, so it's going to get sped up. Thanks for watching, and come back for more. Alright, welcome back. The camera died, so you didn't hear much of my ranting and raving. It's time to take this off of this. I'm going to just use scrapers, putty knives, scrapers. I like going to putty knife first. If you remember, there's a bead of silicone down the inside here. All we really got to do is break it, just cut it a little bit, and it should just pop up. That's why we use 2. Well, it didn't come off quite as clean as I wanted it to, but we had a little bit of I'll show you. We had a little bit of epoxy leak on this end. That's obviously what those guys are. So there's going to be, this one's going to be a little more challenging, but yeah. You get the idea. Just keep on pounding. Alright, I'm going to keep hacking at this. You don't need to watch me do this. And we will be right back. I decided not to scrape and just to put 60 grit on the belt sander. There's a couple imperfections. We had some epoxy leakage, and that's why there's so much down here. But yeah, the 60 grit takes care of things pretty quick. Just gonna smooth out this bottom a little bit, clean some of this up, and then yeah, I'm gonna do the top and come back to this. I'm not that worried about the bottom yet, because doing the top, you're gonna have drips, you're gonna have all kinds of stuff. Bottom's gonna get gross. It's gonna need to be sanded again. So I really just need it flat enough so it's level for pouring other stuff, which just gonna knock these edges down a little bit more. And yeah, we're going to flip it over, clean it up, and get ready to pour a whole bunch of epoxy on here. Away we go. That, my friends, is the power of the belt sander. You take a lot of material off. Belt sander's your way to go. And again, air nozzle, probably one of the best things. Gets everything out of the nooks and crannies. You can always hit it with tack rag. Tack rag's always good. Always a good choice. Alrighty. It is epoxy time. I need to, there's a calculator thing that you can put in your sizes that tells you how much you need. Can't really pour this stuff that deep. So I'm going to do 2 of these, which should get me about 0.30 inches. Just over a quarter of an inch. So we need a bigger bucket. This is going to be my measuring bucket. And we're just going to mix up a whole bunch of this. Yeah, all I hear is like dollar signs when I do this. 60 ounces. Get most of it. Now for the really thick stuff. This stuff's actually like maple syrup. It's alrighty. Oh my goodness. Oh, this better work, because it's a lot of money. It will set up pretty fast. I gotta get to mix in here, but yeah. All right, we got gold in there, and mix away. Alrighty, table's all set up. Table's clean. I have a bunch of epoxy here. Not gonna be able to narrate much. I gotta pour this. So yeah, this is gonna be fun. Anyway, the gold's gonna flatten out. It's not gonna be as bad as it looks. We gotta fill all the corners. And this is gonna get, it'll flatten itself out. So I'm just trying to get all the dry spots and make sure the corners are nice and thick. Actually, it looks like it's a little off balance. Kind of put the stick in and see how much is in there. It's a little low on this side. We're gonna lose a bunch of this when we start sanding and stuff. There we go. That'll move. It moves real slow. Yeah, when we start sanding and stuff, I can take half of this off, and it'll just be a nice light coat. And yeah, so again, we take our torch and we start running it for bubbles, because bubbles are bad. I really need to get a vacuum chamber. That is, I might actually order one of those tonight, because I don't want to do all of this for the final coats. Alright guys, we will catch you back up in a couple hours here. You don't need to really watch any of this. Alrighty, so it's poured, but I was very stupid and used masking tape. Should have used plastic tape. So now I have to try and get all this off. It's alright because it's all gonna get sanded and cut and everything else, but yeah, masking tape, I don't know what I was thinking. So I am going to peel all this off, and sorry, I got a bit of a allergy thing going, I think, today. I'm going to peel all this off, and this is going to, I'm actually probably put it outside for it to dry. UV will help it dry, but it's going to be a couple of days until we could really do anything with it. Yeah, it's got a hard big time. It's still, even now, a little sticky, and it's been, I don't know, 13 hours or something. Alright, so that's your update. Stay tuned. I'm going to give this a couple of days, and we will be back. Thanks, guys. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It has been a long time. This has been sitting around. I've gotten so busy, but I'm coming back to this, because this is going to be really cool once it's done. Anyway, when I poured it, it really made a huge mess, and I decided to use masking tape, which was the wrong thing, and now it's masking tape soaked in epoxy. Here. Yeah, it's a mess, and we got flash and everything else. So all I'm going to do is take the trusty worm drive and cut it off. When in doubt, cut it out. I've got my extra long straight edge, factory approved, and I'm just going to mark a line right along the edge, and just cut off all the epoxy, or all the waste, all the tape, and everything else. It's just going to save me tons of time. I mean, I could sand it, but it's not going to be flat. It's going to take forever. So we're just going to cut this thing. Yeah, with the worm drive and the epoxy, it's pretty gnarly, the stuff that comes out of it. So it's always nice to have a sweet PP. Okay, what else I should say here is gotta go really slow. You're cutting through an inch of wood and a quarter of an inch of epoxy on there. So if you watch, I'm going to cut really, really, really slow, and it's going to make a ton of smoke and mess, but it'll come out with a nice finished product. So yeah, away we go. I almost don't even want to be in here, but I want to show you. This is, this is the mess we cut off. All that with, quarter, eighth inch cut. Yeah, don't use masking tape. Masking tape doesn't work. We're going to sand these corners just a little bit because they are razor sharp. And we have to apply a sealant on the sides. I'm not going to epoxy it. I don't need to epoxy this. I just need it to look nice. So yeah, we're just going to round over these corners just a little bit, and then get some epoxy on there, or get some clear coat on there. Got to figure out what I'm going to use. I was thinking about using spar varnish because it's super waterproof, and it'll color this nice. Like the top of it's a really nice color, so I think we're just going to do that on the sides. But yeah, there we go. Stay tuned. Let me set up. I'll be right back. Hello everyone, welcome back. This is the bottom now. It's pretty ugly, uneven. There's molding stuff, junk all over this. So we're just gonna clean this up a little bit. I'm just literally using like 80 grit sandpaper. Yeah, this is epoxied on. Sometimes they come off. This one's not being productive. 80 grit sandpaper, 60 grit sandpaper. Just wail on it, get it smooth. It's pretty good in the middle. We got some problems in some places. I usually start with my old 80 grit, throw a couple old sheets on there, burn them up, and yeah. So away we go. Okay, I changed my mind. We're going to belt sander. This ridge here is pretty deep. This epoxy isn't coming out. This is a bunch of epoxy here. It'll just be through the belt sander. So away we go. Alright, so belt sanding's done. Yeah, I meant to say I got a new toy, the DeWalt cordless or battery powered sander. It's sweet. Power adjustable. Oh yeah, more power. Anyway, so we're going to do a little bit of sanding to smooth this out a little, less scratches, and well, because that'll make this clearer. So I kind of want to buff this. It's going to take a little bit, but yeah. So we're just going to sand and sand and sand, and then we got polyurethane edges and bottom, and we gotta cut it still. Bunch of stuff left to do. Anyway, thanks for coming out, guys. Hello everyone, it's a new day. I want to show you what I'm going to do here. We've got it all sanded. I'm going to wait to clear coat it until after I cut it. My camera's going to die. These are the table leg, or one of the leg I got. It's going to be a waterfall, so this has got to be one end of it. Obviously we have to cut the board. There's the length of that table leg, and we got to cut it on a 45 degree this way, and then cut this guy back to make our 45. So we've got the worm drive all set up 45 degrees, and we're just gonna rip this sucker and then turn around and cut the top of it the other 45 that way. But right now I'm gonna go get a battery, and you guys stay tuned. I'll be right back. Alrighty, yeah, we're good to go. We'll try that again with power on the saw. Okay, so I forgot to turn on the camera. Anyway, I've got this cut. It's terrible. Don't look at it. I used my angle sander thing over there. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to pour epoxy in the middle here. So what I want to do is sand just this little bit so it's not as... The epoxy will make it clear, but there's a bunch of scratches in there from the saw and stuff. So I just want to sand these up, get those clear, and then we're going to set up some arms to make it 90, square, and we'll get to pouring some epoxy in there to lock this all together. That's the plan. I don't know. Back, everyone. Okay, so we're all set up. Basically, all I did is I put the edge together and duct taped it. It's a little loose, but that's fine. And then we put some supports in to keep it. Obviously, we wanted it 90 degrees. 245 cuts is 90 degrees. So that locks your 90 in, and then the tape will hold the epoxy in. And my camera is about to die, so I am just going to pour this, and we'll see what happens. Takes a good amount to fill this up, believe it or not. And if there's a little in there extra, that's okay, because I can get rid of it. I'd rather have it, that's actually too much. So yeah, alright, battery's gonna die. Thanks, guys. Welcome back, everyone. So you can see it's full of epoxy. The tape, no big deal. We're just gonna hit it with a sander and round that edge over, get rid of all this ugliness, and it'll be real nice and pretty. And then we gotta polish it, but that's not that big of a deal. So I can't really sand and do this at the same time, and I need to hold the piece and everything else. You can watch, but not gonna be that much fun. More sanding. Anyway, here we go. Okay, so you can see We got it sanded. We've got it flat. I've already hit wood here, which kind of sucks, and there's a little divot. So I'm going to have to tape this. I'm going to refill this from this side so I can get a bigger build here. And then we'll pull the tape and re-sand it, but I don't like how that's coming out. So, sides are good. That looks great. And this side doesn't look bad, but we're getting down to it. So we're going to fill this real quick and then, yeah, keep going. Alrighty, I forgot to record. Yeah. So this is, it's cleaned up. I sanded it down. You can see it's nice and round now. We got a little bit of separation, but I'm hoping that's all just going to disappear once it gets polished. This is like 60 grit. We just ragged on it to get it down. We're going to do a full polish. I have, it's a set of papers. It goes 120, 220, 400, 600, 800, 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, 5,000. And then I've got a buffing pad. So we're going to do all that. But once you sand them with those, that series of grits, it's pretty clear. It's actually pretty clear already, and then just a little bit of buffing it out. But yeah, I'm not going to bother you with showing me sanding for the next like hour. But yeah. Alrighty, so the whole thing's been sanded. The whole shenanigans, all the different flavors. It's nice and even now, nice and smooth. Now's the hard part. We're going to try and buff this that I've never really done before, but yeah, we're gonna give it a shot, and I'll let you know how this goes. Thanks, guys. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It's another day. Alright, so I've got everything on the outside sanded. I realized that I need to sand the bottom. So we're going to sand the bottom, clean up the middle bit, and do a little polishing. And then, yeah, this is going to get clear coat. So I don't have to polish this. The clear coat will make this clear as long as I get it sanded, which is nice. But yeah, so just more sanding. Yeah, there's we got that all sanded. This has all been sanded all the way down to 5,000, and we gotta buff it. But the next thing I want to do is put some clear coat on these sides. I want to do this and have this finished and then have to do this. So do the nasty parts first. So we're going to do this and the bottom with clear coat. Like I said, it's step, 204 out of 437. I have to get a couple of coats on here because this stuff's pretty thin. But you can see it doesn't change the wood color at all, which is good. And it's just shiny enough that the epoxy becomes basically clear. Okie dokie. It's time for some polishing. Never really done this before. Clamped it down. Shouldn't go anywhere. It's just a matter of getting the goop all over the place, and then going back and forth, and then giving it one of these. And it is about to pour, so we'll see how long this lasts. Hello everyone, welcome back. So yeah, I had a bunch of problems with the buffing and everything else. I didn't have the heart to record it. it's all buffed and everything else. I have to put the legs on it, and we're pretty much done. You guys didn't want to see me buffing and sanding anyway. So we just got 3 black screws. And until they're nice and tight. And yeah. There we go. It's, I should have more light. Yeah, hold on. Okie dokie. There we go. Get some light through it. It's pretty shiny. I needed a different polishing mixture, but it works awesome. So, here we go. Thank you for coming by. Thank you for all your watches. I really appreciate it. Love to hear some comments. And yeah, if you want to know, I have tons of wood. Look at this slab of cherry I have. I got 3 of those I got to figure out what to do with, and all of this, and yeah. Anyways, thanks for coming by. Thank you for supporting me, and have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.